What's up, everybody? Anthony here, Empire Music, empiremusic.com. Phone number at the shop, 412-343-5299. Another new bass arrival in the shop, new brand here in the shop. Super excited about it, RKM Basses. These are hand-built instruments out of Monterey, Mexico. They're doing amazing work. There's two different lines going on with RKM. So there's a custom series and a DS series. Both, as I said, hand-built, beautiful instruments. The DS series are some less options. What I'm holding here is a custom series, and you can do a lot with building these, but we have this one in stock right now. So it's a custom series 4-string. Check out the pickup configuration on this too. P-Bass, Music Man. Very, very slick. We'll get more into that. Beautiful Olympic white, bright Olympic white too, over 3-color sunburst. It looks awesome. These guys popped up on my radar. I'm a massive fan of Yannick Gwizdala and his YouTube channel, his playing throughout the years. I've always really enjoyed his music, and his approach to music, I think, is I almost enjoy that more than his music sometimes, and I love his music. But I love hearing him talk about bass, and I've just been a longtime fan and follower of Yannick's. And when Yannick mentioned he was doing a signature bass out of RKM, that's where it really popped up in my head. It was like, oh, that might be a pretty cool company, because if Yannick's gonna put his name on it, then it's definitely worth checking out at least, right? So when we were going to the NAMM show earlier this year, the 2025 NAMM out in Anaheim, California, I knew RKM was gonna be there. I said, I'm running to the RKM booth early, and I wanna get in there and check some of that stuff out. And I walk over there on, I guess it would have been Friday morning at the NAMM show, and Yannick was hanging out there. So I got a chance to very briefly talk with Yannick, and just, I have a bunch of his books. I love his stuff. This isn't a Yannick video, this is an RKM video, but it was cool to meet him nonetheless. And Umberto from RKM came over, we started rapping, Yannick went and did his thing. So it was nice to kind of get that little FaceTime with Yannick, even though we had done a Skype lesson years ago, but it's a whole nother story for another video that wouldn't exist on the Empire page, right? So it was just a cool connection to make. And then I got the basses in my hand, I said, oh, okay, there's something going on here that's pretty special. And playing through 5, 6 or so basses, I pretty quickly realized I think these are some things that we want to get in the shop here at Empire Music. And talking with Umberto and just hearing his take on bass building and some of the things that they are aiming to do with RKM, I think line up pretty well with some of the things that we want to do here with Empire Music in our bass selection. So it kind of just made sense. So we grabbed 6 guitars from the NAMM show. We're down to 3 guitars from the NAMM show now. So they've been popular. They've been very well received. This was part of that. So in the particular models that we have in stock right now at the time of filming this, we have a little bit of a discount on the price, just, at the time of filming this. So give me a call at the shop, 412-343-5299. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can get links below to get to our RKM inventory. Worth checking out. A bass like this at time of filming coming in at like $37.99. It's really on par with anything else you're gonna see, well above that price point. This really is a custom shop level instrument. It plays great, it sounds great, it's super versatile. I enjoyed them so much, and I know people give me crap all the time about it, talking about things that I own, but I bought one of the DS series because I was so impressed with the instruments once we got them in here at the shop. So I can kind of vouch for it. I won't say that again. Yeah, right. Anyway, into the bass, right? So it's lightweight. It's sub 9. I think this is I think we weighed this at like 8 pounds, 12 ounces. So not super light, not heavy at all, right? Kind of where we just right around where we want to see it, a bass like this, especially with 2 pickups in it and Leo Quan Badass bridge on it. So solid mahogany body, so no seam. It's a solid piece of wood. That's great. I think that resonance, anytime we can avoid any glue joints or anything like that, that's awesome, right? RKM pickups in there, so proprietary RKM pickups and a Music Man here in the bridge and a P-Bass in the front. And I'll tell you, the range of tones that I'm pulling out of this is exceptional. Volume, pickup panning, master tone, 2-band Aguilar OBP1 preamp on the stack knob configuration. Now this is my first go around with this particular Aguilar preamp. In fact, I love Aguilar stuff. We're not a dealer for them. I've played Aguilar cabs in my personal life for a long time and still do. I've always enjoyed like their pedals and their pickups and their preamps, but I have limited experience with them. So it's really nice to kind of get my hands on this to sort of wrap my head around what the tonality, kind of the functionality more with that preamp, because these pickups obviously are giving their color to it. The finish works great on it. The relicing work is very nice on it. You know, we're big Fender custom shop dealers, so we know relic work well. I like what's going on here with the instrument, although different from what Fender gives it, which is cool. Open it up, electronics are super clean. Has an Apple AirTag in it too, so that's kind of awesome if you're gonna, you know, if you're checking your bass, and you can track your bass that way. 4-bolt contoured neck heel, nice deep neck pocket on it. Medium neck profile is what RKM is describing this as. To me, again, we have an 1.5 inch jazz bass nut spacing, so anytime I get to that thinner nut width and a lot of the nuance, I've said this before, kind of gets lost on me, but this feels like kind of feels like a C to D profile on it. I don't really know what it is, but it's just called a medium profile, but it feels vintage but not chunky, if that makes sense. East Indian rosewood, beautiful piece of East Indian rosewood fretboard on that. Lumen lay inlays on the top, no fret markers, which I love. That takes me back to like I've said this before in a video way in the past, my first good bass I ever got was an old USA made Tobias Growler that my father got me. And it didn't have any fretboard, or it didn't have any front facing dots. I really liked that. It was just an aesthetic thing. I thought that was cool because it was just different. So that always reminds me of that. I dig it. And you have the slim headstock on it. Lightweight, badass tuners on that. And remember, Aaron Hutzel, our tech, and I, when we flipped this over to look at it, it was the first time I think we had seen these badass tuners. And they're nice. They're clean. They seem lightweight. The bass is very well balanced. High marks all around. And although it's got some vintage kind of character to it in the looks, you do have your cutout truss rod adjustment, which is awesome. And they're all 2-way truss rods, which is cool. You can do a lot of adjustments to it. I was able to get this came with very, very low action from the show. And I know why they did that at the show. I prefer more of a medium low. I really do think more of a medium action to me feels good for my style of playing. And then in the neck, it is a graphite reinforced neck. It is ultra stable. I mean, this neck was taken both ways on the truss rod, no problem. We did a lot to this bass, kind of putting it through the paces, and was impressed every which way with it. So really excited to have RKM here in the shop. Umberto and I have had quite a few text message exchanges about getting some new things here in the shop, and some moving forward, I think there might be some special stuff coming with the RKM guys, but that remains to be seen yet. It's a long ways away from that. But this bass in particular is really, really nice. Let's dive into some of the tones. So as I said, there's 2 switches on here that I forgot to mention. This is your active passive switch, and this, check this out. I'll just show you what this is. Kill switch. Pretty cool, right? So you could really, I don't know that I would use it in that sense. It's not like a button, you know, like the EVH thing, but it's nice to just have a mute, you know, just right on the bass, right? It's kind of cool. Don't need it. No issue in having it though, right? And these switches, I will say this too, the switches feel very nice. You know, when you get a pedal or anything like that, and how a switch or a knob, it just feels good. It's very, the tactile sense on that is just cool. I really just like the feel of these switches on that. And also, you know, I'm a sucker for details. I love how the stacked knob for the preamp is different than the other knobs. I love that aspect to it, because it's like, it gives, with the relicing, it gives this like modded kind of feel to it. I really, really dig that. And the knobs feel, the pots feel super stable on that too. So let's dive into some of the tones. I forget which one's active and passive now. Let's find out. All right, we got it. All right, so we're gonna go also, I'm gonna keep going back because there's specs I'm forgetting here. It's a 12-inch radius on there, and I just thought of that. Also, it's boost only on the preamp, which is the Aguilar's design. I really like that. If you saw my video on the LEH basses, and obviously that had like the fader or the sliders on it, but I really like the concept of a boost only preamp. I don't know why, it's just fitting me tonally very nice, and it takes a little bit of guesswork out of it. All right, cool, we're in the right mode there. So we're in active mode. So I like to demonstrate, and in the beginning of the video, I was doing just Music Man pickup because I kind of just fell in love with that tone. The mid-range bite through that, like jazz bass on steroids, I really, really was digging that. But we're gonna go wide open, so right down the middle, and check this out. I like this with the Fender American Ultra 2s, how there wasn't a big jump between active and passive, especially when you're flat on the preamp. No difference, so you don't even know that preamp's engaged there. I dig that. So, all right, up is passive, down is active. All right, so I'm gonna stick, okay, we kind of know, here's what you're getting in passive, right? The rest of this video is gonna be all in the active mode because a bass like this is just screaming to be played active. And as we start boosting frequencies, there obviously at that point will be a volume dip. The passive, I think in a bass like this is nice to have as a safety net, but I think I would be using this all the time in active mode. So wide open, what's that mean? That means P-bass pickup, that means Music Man pickup, full on, full tone, flat EQ. You know my feelings about a PJ setup, right? It's not my favorite tone. It sits in a mix way better than it is when it's naked. Like when you just have it solo bass, I think it's a little bit abrasive and harsh. Something about the Music Man in the bridge is taking a little bit of that harshness off. Still not my favorite tone, fingerstyle. However, I do like it a lot with a pick. I do like that sound, but in a mix, this is a super underrated sound. So, and then we'll go just front pick. I mean, again, we're still flat on the EQ, so no boost at all. Very much what, you know, I'm very comfortable on a P bass, and that is just giving me all of that, which is cool. I mean, if you weren't looking at it, you'd think, oh, cool, P-bass. You can really hear that woodiness, that attack, that transient, the way that note decays, very, very familiar in a P-bass sense. And then here in the Music Man pickup, now here's where knowing that preamp helps, because that right there, to me, cool fingerstyle. I get into the slap thing. It's almost, it's asking just to boost the preamp a little bit there. I don't think it sounds bad by any means, but it's not really giving me that Music Man punch. But Music Man also like known for the active preamp, boosting some of those frequencies. So it's nice to know when you go down to this preamp and it's all the way rolled off, you know you're flat. So everything past that's a boost. So I'm gonna add a little bit of bass, see where that gets me. Still has that bridge pickup slap thing that a Music Man has, so it's giving me what it should be giving me, but I really like that finger style there. Then I'm gonna boost a little bit of treble. Now we're getting somewhere. Sounds great. I'm gonna roll some tone off. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to roll tone off when I'm adding treble, but it's not the same thing. I always think of that kind of like the Pultec EQ trick, where you start attenuating and boosting essentially the same frequencies, but because of the circuitry in there, it affects it in kind of a cool way as far as the kind of the richness and I guess in a way like the saturation on it. Love that. That sound is brilliant. It's a very glidey kind of mid-range. That's right around where I think I had it for the intro. And as I'm playing, I'm getting more into that bridge pickup sound. It's just, I played P-bass and had that front roundness for so long. That's kind of nice hearing something different. But now we'll go back to that center position, right? So we have both pickups wide open. We're gonna hear attack. That transient's gonna get brighter on top. Overall, you're gonna hear more of that treble side. That more hi-fi kind of PJ thing, but again, it's not quite as bright and brittle as what a straight PJ gives you. I really, really like it. That to me, and I could be totally wrong about this, but like I think of that almost more as a traditional Music Man kind of sound than just this. Definitely more hi-fi for sure. Then we roll up to that front pickup and we're right in P-bass territory. Super, I mean, that's such a wide range of sounds. I'm gonna go through them one more time, really quick. Middle. Neck. You can really pull anything out of this bass. It's exceptional, and it plays fantastic. It's just a good feeling bass. So let's go roll some tone off. So I had a little pause there. Stay on the front position. We're going to boost a little bit more bass and boost a little bit more treble. Actually, I'm going to cut a little bit of treble on that. Now we have a big, big sound out of this thing. A little with pick. Right there, that's big. And then just straight palm muting with the thumb. And this is where I love an active EQ. Sometimes with my traditional passive P-bass, you know, I run out of top end on that. So I can essentially add, I can kind of fake my way back into that keep that tone, let's open that tone knob up and add some treble. Playing with a technique that's not really known for top end, kind of qualities to it, but it's nice to add that in for that extra little bit of attack and cut. So I'm gonna take some tone back off, roll some treble back. We're gonna go to that wide open position again. So both pickups. No, I said it reminds me of a Music Man. It has a little bit of like the Spectre kind of thing going on to that too, which is cool. It really is that hi-fi thing. I'm gonna love that with a pick for sure, because it's one of my favorite positions for the pick palm muting thing. Very nice. And then back to the bridge position, right? So straight Music Man pick up here. Again, I'm interpreting this, just my hands and my own experience, as more of like a pumped jazz bass. I'm actually gonna add a little bit of tone back on that. I really just can't get enough of that tone, to be honest with you. Just straight, like, I love when basses give me something I don't expect, and I just really, really am into that sound. So again, everything wide open. I'm gonna leave a little bit of boost on there, although I'm gonna roll back a little bit. All right, cool, so middle position, just to kind of recap here. P, Music Man. Very hi-fi, very out front, Spectre, Music Man. Gives me a little bit of cross vibes in that. Bridge pickup, honestly, I have to say it, I hate playing favorites. This is my favorite tone out of the bass, and I'm a P bass guy. And then here's that P character to it, and it's right at home. So awesome bass. New arrival in the shop here, new brand in the shop, RKM Basses out of Monterey, Mexico. Beautiful hand-built instruments. Humberto and squad down there are really doing nice things. If you have any questions at all, 412-343-5299. You can email me directly. It's anthony@empiremusic.com. We have some in-stock RKMs. If you want to order a custom RKM, let's talk. They can do a lot of things. There's so many options to choose from. They're not even really listed. So it's like, shoot me an email, shoot me a call, give me your ideas. I'll pass that on to Humberto, and we can like get started on building you a really nice bass. They come in at a pretty comfortable price point too. They're not cheap, but they're stuff that's way more expensive out on the market, and I think these punch well above their weight class on it. So really nice instruments. Again, phone number 412-343-5299. Any questions, feel free to reach out. See you next time. Thank you.